Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. We've started off Gohan's World Tour. Now it's time to start off Cell's first rotation. You're probably wondering why I brought him with us, and the reason for that is just purely because of how good Gohan is, and just to have his stacking and guard. So he's just here to be here, I'm not gonna lie. In terms of the rotation, not really what we want to start with, but it's actually just generally not that bad. I'm actually not going to pop an item. I feel like we'll be okay without using one. We are going to get the guaranteed 30% defense raise on Cell just because we can't 18 key. And we just need to hope 19 inch row don't get super attacked and we should be good. However, Gohan being super attacked straight away isn't what I was looking for either. That's a bit of damage, but I guess we're on track to get Cell transformed. I am running dual cells, by the way, just because I think a second cell or a second EZA cell floating will work better. Or even on main rotation will work better than a second transforming cell. Just have the dual heal, and then once they're transformed, the amount of damage these two will do will probably just absolutely just melt Cellmax's HP bar, considering how meaty it is. So I reckon that will work out a little bit better. Yes, we miss out on a second 200% lead, but I think having a second EZA Cell with us kind of more than makes up for it. But this is what I've noticed with Cell. Whereas, like, if I compare it to like football, when it comes to football teams, you know, when you think of like, oh, the dodge build in them two paying off right now. We're getting the transformation already. This is great. I'm pretty sure the friend cell is rainbowed. So we're going to start packing a punch, like, from turn 2. This is good, by the way. This is great. So 258k defense on the friend cell. Is he rainbowed? Yes, he is rainbowed. Is he level 10 links? He is level 10 links. So 258k defense with type advantage and a Whis. Yeah, I mean, even without a Whis, after he super attacks, considering Cell can greatly raise his attack and defense on 18 key, and with an additional on the 12 key, yeah, super basics aren't going to touch Cell. We're getting him 7 keys, which means we actually miss out on the majority. We do have an extra attack and defense plus 40% and an extra attack and defense plus 50%. We do miss out. No, we don't. Attack and defense plus 30% and attack and defense plus 40%. We do miss out on the attack and defense plus 50 and the extra attack plus 100%. Because we didn't get 24 key, but that's fine. That should be enough. But even without a Whis, once Cell super attacks, basics aren't touching him. Even before that, basics probably wouldn't do too much. 250k defense with type advantage, they still probably would hardly hurt him, maybe like a couple of K. But getting this transformation early, yeah, Cell's going to be absolutely like just melting Cellmax's HP bar. We've triple supered, which means we've raised our defense by 50% 3 times. So even a super attack at this point with the Whis active is not going to hurt Cell. Unfortunately, Cellmax didn't decide to super attack him. But getting that transformation early, the fact there's no turn restriction on Cell's transformation is great, because if you just get absolutely caught in the beginning, which is still quite likely, you know, if you're building up a unit, if you're trying to stack them, build up their passive, if you get caught early and lose a bunch of health, usually it's kind of like, oh, damn, gotta be careful. If Cell comes around with what I love to call the insurance policy, bang, a full heal in red zone, which, as you can see there, if we didn't have dual cells, we could have been in trouble for the rest of the run, just because we were so close to dying. But then Cell's like, no, I'm going to transform, and that's why I bought a dual lead, because then we can have 2 guaranteed heals if we need them, while still having Whis, which is great. Do we need to use an item here? Actually, no, we still have a Whis active, so we're good. Of course, Gohan has his guard with 261k defense. Again, we've already seen him in red zone. We know what he's about. We're actually still going to miss the 18 keys, so I'm going to give Cell these. That, again, guarantees the defense raise. Hopefully, we can trigger the built-in additional, and then maybe even a second additional from the Duke system to raise his defense 3 times. That does mean if Cell gets super attacked, again, considering Cellmax supers for 600k, we should have enough defense with a Whis active for that to do hardly any damage to us, if any. But this is also another reason why I decided to bring another EZA Cell as a friend. It's just because as I was going to say, when I'm comparing these to you like a football team, and it will make sense once I get there. But when you consider like the big football teams, like in the past, Real Madrid and Barcelona, you know, they had Ronaldo, they had Messi, absolute goats. But then they were surrounded by superstar players. And that's the case for EZA Gohan. He is currently like a Ronaldo or Messi. And then you have absolute superstars around him. Year 7 LRs, both of them, the Gammas, Birdcoo. That's only to name a couple. There's probably many, many more I've missed out. Like, there's a lot of top tier units that can surround Gohan. Whereas Cell is like the Ronaldo and Messi of the categories you can run him on. And don't get me wrong, the units you can run with them are great, but there's a ceiling above a lot of them where they are viable in red zone, but because of their aging and typically extreme units not getting the same type of love that super units do, there's a cap, there's a limit on how good these units truly are. Like, don't get me wrong, Dokkan Fest transforming Cell is great, but you need him to transform, you need to get some lucky with dodges, some additionals, and as considering mine's at 55%, obviously triggering them a bit more is a little bit more difficult. Yes, he's level 10 links, which has helped, and yes, he's got dodge, additionals and stuff built in. But again, sometimes you need like an extra additional, you need some extra stats from dupes, and again, you need to wait for him to fully transform first. EZA, even EZA, Fizzle, and Cell Jr. is great EZA. But again, as a cap, his defense will only go up so high where he can handle red zone, and there are too many units on the team rather than like one or two who has enough defense to potentially like handle basics, for example. Why not pop the active? Why not pop the active? Especially with the support from 19 Ninja Row. But like their defense isn't capable of withstanding like some of the harder hitting red zone bosses like Broly and especially Cooler Core without an item active, and you're only limited to 2. And you know, 19 Ninja Row are pretty good and they're a very good support unit that is somewhat viable for harder content, but again, there's a ceiling on them, and rather only having to worry about them and like another unit, you have to worry about like 4 of them, which is way too much, and you'll have to get incredibly lucky and rely on so much RNG that it just makes the units around Cell, it kind of brings him, it doesn't bring him down, but it definitely hinders him, it definitely holds him back, which is a massive, massive shame. So I said, Gohan is like the Ronaldo and Messi of like Barcelona and Real Madrid back in the day, and then you had superstars around them, but Cell is the GOAT, Cell is the Messi and Ronaldo of this, but he has like very good units around him that have a ceiling, that have a cap of how good they can be in harder content, especially without dupes here and there as well. And as I said, it kind of hinders him a bit, because he's doing stuff like this. He's putting out 20 million attack stats if you get the orbs, hitting out additionals, raising his attack and defense, or especially defense like 3 times in a turn. He's good. But he needs units around him that are on that level of what surround Gohan, like some with guard, some with damage reduction, some that can get up to insane amounts of defense. Instead, it's mainly just Cell. And I think that's really going to hold him back, especially in the harder red zone stages. I said Broly and the likes of Cooler Core, maybe even Shenron to an extent, and you have to rely on RNG swaying your way a hell of a lot more. Like, a lot. As I said, transforming Cell, dodging when you need him to do. You know, I don't have dupes in mind, so there's, you know, I'm hardly, if ever, going to see another additional super from him. 19 Ninja Row, I have to rely on dodging. You know, I have to go for alternate setups. Like, as I said, there's just more of a ceiling and more of a cap on these type of units, which just kind of holds Cell back a bit, considering how good he actually is. I don't know why I did that. Gohan's definitely staying in slot 1. We're going to miss out on a super attack from Cell. But as I said, Cell himself has been doing really well. I mean, yes, the friend's rainbowed. We haven't lost enough health for mine to transform. But, I mean, Cell's still doing well. Even mine, who's got 2 dupes rather than rainbow, he does decent amount of damage, especially, of course, on the type advantage phase. That's a given. In terms of his defense, the more HP remaining, you know, of course, with the full 120 or close to the full 120, he has enough defense to handle Cell Max's basics, especially if he does get that 50% defense raise on the 12 key. And definitely if you do get a 12 key super and then hit an additional, of course, is built in. And then even more so if you have dupes and you get the triple. If you don't decide to actually go for the 18 key, of course, that is a possibility. So defensively, he's very good. With a Whis active, he can handle Cell Max's basics of 600k. And of course, as we're seeing transformed, with the Rainbow one, he's doing insane amounts of damage. We're talking like 15 plus million attack stats, up to 20 mil, depending on how many orbs, of course, you get. And then defensively, you're always raising your attacking defense, or at least your defense anyway, on both 18 and 12 key super by 50%. Which means that's a given. His defense is going to be enough to be able to tank basics 100% for nothing. Super attacks he's going to tank a lot better for, especially with a Whis active. And then he also has that high chance of a crit built into his passive on top of dupes, which means he's doing not only like 15 plus million attack stats, but he's then critting with them as well, which is huge amounts of damage to such a meaty health bar that Cell Max has at 80 mil. So he is doing really well here. It's just the teams and units around him, while they are still very good, they've just kind of aged a bit, and it's kind of the typical extreme unit shaft that we've seen in Dokkan for years that really hinders Cell specifically. Which is a shame, which is why I really do hope in the next year we see some extreme unit love in the likes of like a new Goku Black and Zamasu to give them guys a 200% lead. Hopefully we get to see an LR Kid Buu transforming a Mega Shenron, you know, transforming Baby. There's a lot of good extreme units that are pending for like Dokkan Fests and LRs. So hopefully that happens. I know most of those specifically don't correlate to Cell, but you know what I mean. But Cell is still very good and can easily more than hold his own in probably majority of red zone stages. Actually, probably all of them. I think the only one that he would maybe slightly struggle on is of course Cooler Core, because he has type disadvantage and Cooler Core just does so much damage. But I think basics he will be fine, especially when he's transformed. And again, that heal would serve really well. But I think obviously where it would be a problem, where it would be a little bit scary when it comes to Cooler Core, is the fact that Cooler Core's super attack without an item will easily kill Cell. So as long as he were transformed and probably super attacked at least twice with a Whis active, he should be able to survive but still take a chunk of damage. But that's the only place where he's really going to get hurt. But then again, you have the heal as well. And you could even use double EZA LR cells there to like have 2 full heals. But in terms of against Cell Max, he's more than capable of running here. It's just other units as well, especially with Cell Max's multiple super attacks on units that have that cap, have that ceiling. If they get multiple super attacks, there's a high chance you're going to die. Like, we're probably going to die here, but I think we've shown off Cell quite well, transformed and untransformed. It's a shame I didn't get mine transformed, but kind of is what it is. But if the units around him were like more on that superstar level like Gohan, this would have been a hell of a lot easier and we wouldn't have to worry about so many units taking like hits or being supered and things like that. We're probably going to die here, to be fair. But Cell's still done well. Actually, no, why would we die? We were probably going to die here if 19 in a row don't dodge, but they've only got 1 dupe in, so they probably won't. But at least these guys have the nullify against Ki Blast supers, so that is also a possibility that they don't have here, to be fair. Maybe we will beat it. There's a high chance we will die, and there's also a high chance we will actually beat the event, but as I said, I think we've got a decent showing of untransformed and transformed Cell, to be fair. Actually, do we have another Whis left? I don't know if we do. We don't, but we do have the Rage transformation. I haven't seen this in ages. Hello. I'm losing. I'm actually losing. No. No. I mean, surely, we all know by now, I really do not like Rage mode and Giant Ape, like giant transformations. But surely we're going to do enough damage with Cell, with how little health Cell Max actually has, to beat this. I kind of want to beat it now just because we're so close. Like, we're so close. I think it would just hurt my pride if we didn't win. That's the Vegeta fanboy, like, really come. Come on, just a little bit more damage. Come on, just a little bit more damage. Just a tiny bit more. There we go. But yeah, Cell is amazing. As I said, easily second best EZA in the game. It's just the units around him have aged. They have a cap. They have a ceiling. And there's also that typical case of extreme units not getting as much love as super units. Like, Cell needs more superstars around him for him to really shine in harder content, but he is still insane. and definitely the second best EZA in the game. But do let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys, and peace.